Hello, good morning. Another one of those overcast days here in the Philippines, full of, I suppose, intrigue on the YouTube channels around. You know, relationships come and relationships go. Some sort of similar way, and some just disappear. But for some, such as the current one, being peddled on YouTube at the moment by many of the channels out there, and that is the one between Randy and Rose. Randy and Rose. Who are Randy and Rose? Well, Randy's an American guy. I think he's a self-confessed alcoholic. I'm trying to be kind, after all. I think he described himself as a drunkard. Well, that being said, any kind of relationship with any group of people, with a person that suffers from alcoholism, is always going to be difficult and fraught with all kinds of complications. None more so than the one both Rose and Randy exposed to the world yesterday. You know, there's one thing about YouTube is that we all try and give as much information to help those out there, with the idea that if they're planning on coming to the Philippines, that they have to be aware that it's a different kettle of fish here. Things work differently, opinions are different, attitudes are different. Everything is measured in a different way. And I think in the video, if you watch it from start to finish, you'll start to see all the different issues that came to a head. One that is really, really important is that many Filipino women desire and wish to have a child. Some just never find the right man, and circumstances mean that they spend their lives childless. Some are fortunate enough that they find somebody who in some ways is a no-hoper, but they still stick by him, and they spit out a child each month almost. Well, not each month, but certainly each year, to the point when they finally realise that they've got 3 little mouths to feed, in addition to trying to support their family around them. And they have to come to the realisation that something's got to stop, and that's usually the thing. They just knuckle down and do their best to bring up those 3 children from often 3 different partners. We're not here to judge people, we're not here to put our own moral judgment on them. But for Rose, I'm sure that she's taking a fair bit of flack from many of you out there who are pointing the finger and suggesting that she's this or the other. I've been there myself, and I think that in many ways it's unfair, because it does take 2 to tango. We don't know what goes on behind anybody's quiet suburban street, but what we can gain or recognize is that nothing is always smooth. You can say it is, but it doesn't always happen that way. There'll always be bumps in the road, there'll always be conflict, and even with Western women, but more so we're here in the Philippines with a Filipino who often gets frustrated and angry at the thought that they're not being heard, they're not being understood, when in fact they are being, but we just can't grasp what they're really meaning. We hear the words, we hear the strain in their voice. We also hear ourselves saying, don't make excuses, she's done wrong. Well, maybe we should stop judging we should start looking at what you do have, what you can focus on. And I think that's probably what Rose and Randy have decided to do. They've decided to try and move on from what is a very complicated and difficult situation to deal with at any point in life, let alone with two completely different cultures clashing in the middle. How it will work out, only they will know. It may well work out where he just remains there, occasionally maybe going online like he said he wouldn't, but just to show everybody that he's still alive and kicking and enjoying his San Miguel light. But the thing is that we can't judge everybody. We can only watch and observe, and the idea that we should be judging is wrong. What we should be doing is saying to ourselves, could this happen to me? Will it happen to me? Or what can I do to avoid that happening to me? Because if we don't learn by others, and others who make mistakes and are game enough, I say game enough to voice it out there in the real world. Some might say, well, it's airing your dirty linen in public. Sure. But I think many of you would agree that you've learnt something about men and women here in the Philippines, regardless of what cultural background they come from. So rather than point the finger, let's try and learn some of the tales that we hear and put them in practice around us. None of us are perfect, but at least if we can learn how to adapt, how to avoid the complications of what Rose and Randy have come across. After all, nobody was expecting that. And I think maybe Randy wasn't either, but who knows? It could have been discussed before, just like she has arranged or suggested that he meet somebody else. Somewhat deflecting it from her, but how do you deflect what she got herself into? Pretty hard. And she will wear that scar for a long, long time, if not forever. Anyway, one wishes them the best in their endeavours for the future, and I hope that time will tend to lessen the pain that both of them no doubt are feeling at this point. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And you have a great day. Bye now.